mistakes. I see my heart cave in. I got my scars. I've been to hell and back again. Going for the blue skies. We'll survive the rain. Going for the sunrise.
Monday Night Raw. Wow. Interesting chain of events. Show started off with a very pissed off Ryback coming out. I thought he was going to say something, but he ends up fighting Titus O'Neil because of what happened on SmackDown with, you know, Titus O'Neil blowing the whistle and doing all that. So Ryback destroys him, gets the win. Then after the match, that's when Ryback starts talking and he demands more. He says, feed me more. He wants CM Punk or those 3 kids from NXT. And he says he's not leaving. Security comes out. He takes out the biggest security guy. Vicky Guerrero comes out and says, Ryback, like, she's trying to get control of the situation. Ryback tells her to shut up, which was great. And he says, no, he wants CM Punk in a match at TLC for the title. Vicky agrees. He says not only that, he wants it to be a tables, ladders, and chairs match. And she agrees, once again, just to get him to leave. And it worked. He left. So it's official. TLC match for the WWE Championship. CM Punk versus Ryback. Alright. Then backstage, Alberto Del Rio defends Rosa Mendez's whole, I guess, image because of what Hornswoggle did to her last week with the flowers and the water. Great Khali comes in. That brings us to our match, which before I get to the match, Ricardo Rodriguez's new way of announcing Alberto Del Rio to the ring. You know, he does the whole Alberto, and he goes on for like 5 minutes, and it's annoying as fuck. Somehow, some way, Ricardo found a way to get even more annoying than he already was. Anyways, it's Alberto Del Rio versus the Great Khali, and one of the few times you'll only ever hear me say I was rooting for Alberto Del Rio. Yes, because the Great Khali, like, he might be even worse than David Otunga. I don't know. They're almost neck and neck as far as having some of the worst matches I've ever seen. But Alberto Del Rio made him tap out after Hornswoggle bit Ricardo in the ass. Yeah, let's not talk about that. Michael Cole has an exclusive interview with Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. It happened earlier in the day. And I don't really know what to take from this interview. It was mostly Dean Ambrose talking, and he says that they have no affiliation with CM Punk. They're not working for him. All they're doing is they're righting their wrongs in WWE. They're not Nexus, they're not the NWO, they're not some chaotic group. I'm like, oh, well, that's less interesting. You're not just an out-of-control group. I don't know. But they want to call themselves The Shield. Oh, The Shield. Why does that sound familiar? Oh, yeah. Nick Fury, The Avengers, The Shield. Samuel L. Jackson should be pissed right now. Whatever. So, that was it. They didn't really say much more than that. A promo aired with Fandango, Johnny Curtis. He's doing, like, the salsa, doing Dancing with the Stars. I'm like, really? This is Johnny Curtis's new gimmick now? So, the pouring the milk over his head or crying over his... I don't know, I guess he's trying something different. Hey, whatever works for Johnny Curtis. I actually do like Johnny Curtis. More power to you. Alicia Fox versus Tamina Snuka. I really couldn't care any less about this match. Tamina gets the win, whatever. I don't... If it's not Caitlyn wrestling, or for some reason AJ, who isn't wrestling, hasn't been wrestling, I want to see her wrestle again. They aren't wrestling, I don't care. John Cena comes out to talk, and he's talking until Vicky Guerrero interrupts him, and she has like a present for him. Oh, here's a present for the Lovebirds, AJ and John Cena, and it's like bathrobes. Like, if she's going for a joke here, then it totally just failed miserably. AJ comes out and she mentions how she's glad she's not the GM anymore because that means she can date who she wants, she can do what she wants, and she went to kiss Cena, and Vicky was like, alright, whatever. Dolph Ziggler interrupts them, breaks up the party, which, thank God for Dolph, thank God. And then we get a match made, Dolph Ziggler versus John Cena tonight. I was shocked. I was expecting this match for TLC, but we get it on Raw tonight. Wow. Speaking of matches for tonight, Kofi Kingston versus Tensai was the next match, and Wade Barrett was on commentary. And even though I just continue to see Tensai get buried week after week, and it seems like his push, if it was ever going to happen, is now complete, kaput, gone, over with. He did have a good showing. In a losing effort, he did sort of dominate the match, and he did some impressive moves to Kofi Kingston before Kingston eventually did get the win. They had a Raw active poll. Vicky Guerrero made it earlier when CM Punk came in her office to complain about the TLC match. She said, tonight he's either wrestling Daniel Bryan or Kane. We got to vote via Twitter. I voted for Kane, and luckily Kane won. But that doesn't stop Daniel Bryan from wrestling. Daniel Bryan gets a match with Rey Mysterio, first time ever, which fucking awesome. You don't see that many first time matches happen anymore nowadays, that's for sure. Great match between Daniel Bryan and Rey Mysterio. These two, like, they could have a really good feud, and I could sit through a series of matches with Daniel Bryan and Rey Mysterio. I really could. Rey Mysterio gets the win with an impressive 619, like off the ring post. Never seen him do that before. Then I thought this would be the main event because it was John Cena, but no, it's Dolph Ziggler versus John Cena right now, and I will give the credit to Dolph Ziggler for this match being good. Because Cena, with his 5 moves of doom, the same stuff over and over again. At this point, I was hoping, even the moment where he looked like he re-injured his leg, I was hoping Dolph would get the win because he needs the win. He needs it really bad, and he just got off that huge week last week. He went at Survivor Series, he beat Miz, and then he beat Randy Orton. But no, Super Cena gets the win. AJ came out, then Vicky came out, and Cena still came in there with the attitude adjustment, and he got the win. I'm just like, wow. Why would you do that to Dolph? Why would you have him on a big roll and then lose to Cena? Like, now, maybe they'll have a rematch at TLC, and maybe Dolph will win that match. One can only hope, but that's my only solace for Dolph losing tonight. Next match is Sheamus versus the United States Champion Antonio Cesaro, a non-title match. That was another good match. I figured Antonio was going to lose, but honestly, watching the match, Antonio was like, he was really impressive. There was a move that he did where he picked Sheamus up and dropped him, and he just was showing how strong he was. Sheamus went off the top rope, and Antonio caught him in an uppercut. I'm like, holy shit, I really thought Antonio was going to win. But Sheamus with the bro kick, Antonio went outside the ring, got counted out. The Big Show came out with a chair, and he tore apart the chair with his bare hands. I don't know, that's a steel chair. I'm pretty impressed with that. Then we get Damian Sandow versus Zack Ryder. Whatever. Wasn't like I was expecting Zack Ryder to win, especially at this point. Damian Sandow gets the win, but the point of that was Michael Cole said something funny with Damian Sandow. You know how he does that cartwheel? That stupid cartwheel that he does. Michael Cole said that, oh, Damian Sandow calls that fuck, now I forget what he said, but it was some stupid rotation of animosity. It was something along those lines that I literally, when I heard it, I said, what? Really? He's renaming a cartwheel? That's not even a fucking wrestling move. Why is he you know what, whatever. I'll wait until the main event where Damian fights John Cena to rant on Damian's cartwheel even more. Then backstage, Josh is interviewing Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman mentions that CM Punk has now surpassed Macho Man Randy Savage in the all-time WWE Championship reigns. Like, wow, that's pretty big. That means he's at like number 7 now, and he's this close to beating Cena. I think he's now at 372. Gets more impressive, but that brings you to the main event. CM Punk in the main event versus Kane. Wow. Like I said, I was shocked. I figured John Cena versus Dolph would be the main event because it's John Cena, but CM Punk, the champion, is in the main event. Has someone been listening to my videos, or has someone finally woke the fuck up that Punk is in the main event now, no matter who he faces? That should be the way it was. And during the match, I thought Punk injured his leg, which I said to myself, that's the last thing he needs, is to get injured right now. He was hobbling for a little bit, and I really thought he was injured, but he sort of shook it off. Through the crowd, the Shield, the 3 NXT guys came out, distracted Kane. CM Punk gets the win, go to sleep. Then they were surrounding the ring, and it looked like they were going to attack Punk. And I thought, well, if they attack Punk, then that would have me believe them that they're not with Punk. They're doing their own thing. But no, they jump on Kane. They're attacking Kane. Thankfully, Daniel Bryan, who finally shows some loyalty, comes down there, and they beat up Daniel Bryan too. Then Ryback comes out. It's fucking chaos. Ryback comes out, and he takes it to these guys. I thought he was going to beat the shit out of them. He threw them off of him. He's clotheslined them left and right. Punk comes back in the ring, and then they attack Ryback again. They beat Ryback up for the third time in a row. And the show ends with Punk and the Shield sort of leaving. Not together. They're still trying to throw us off, but now I think the Shield's bullshit. They're totally working for CM Punk. It's way too coincidental. If they really wanted to right the wrongs in WWE, then they should have helped Dolph Ziggler beat John Cena earlier tonight. That's a wrong. Cena beating Dolph. That's a wrong, and they didn't do anything about it, so that's just my way of knowing that they're bullshit. Anyways, guys, that's my thoughts on Monday Night Raw. Let me know in the comments below if you saw Raw and what you think of it. To leave you, do you guys remember a few years ago when Raw used to be on TNN, which is now Spike TV, and then they finally left and came back home to the USA Network? You guys remember that? Homecoming? If you don't, there was a pretty funny Raw commercial showing them moving, and I'm going to leave you with that. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Peace, subscribe, later.
All right, listen up. We're moving. All right, here we go. All right. Hey, are we there yet? You want me to drop?
I'm hungry.
Raw is moving October 3rd at 8 to USA Network.